Hey, it's Radical Dan. Happy 12,017 according to the human era calendar. What I'm going to do today, this is like the first, this is going to be the first batch of 2017. I'm going to make some wine. And see right here, we're going to have cherry this time. So I'm just showing you right here, this is just pretty much everything that you have to make it. Okay, you have to have your juice or whatever you're going to do. And I'm going to use 3 of these because they're only 46 ounces. So I want 3 of these, and I'm going to add water to them. I've got a brand new bucket, hasn't never been used for anything, with the lid. And I took one of these little brass fittings right here. I popped a hole in the side. See that brass fitting right there. And then I got a piece of hose, this little plastic poly hose right here that'll fit right on top of there. Okay, and that's going to let the gases come out, and they're going to actually need a container to bubble it through, so I'll use this old coconut oil container. And what I'll do is I'll put water in it. And you've probably seen it before, but after it comes out of there, then this will sit down inside the water so that the gases can bubble out, but the air can't, and the bugs and stuff can't get back into it. Okay, this time I'm going to put, this is what I use right here, regular bread yeast. You have to have a wooden spoon to stir the mixture up. Your thermometer, and this time usually I use like 4 or 5 pounds of sugar. This time I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try to use 10 pounds because the cranberry grape wine that I made was really popular, and my wife showed me something the other day with some little wine cooler drink, whatever, and she says, "Why don't you make something like this? It's a cherry flavor, but it's a little bit sweeter." I said, okay, well maybe I'll just try to put some more sugar in it. I might not put the whole 10 pounds in it, but it's going to be definitely more than 5. So I've got a batch of root beer wine brewing in the other room, and then I've got a batch of white grape brewing. So those should be ready about March. This should be ready probably beginning of April. So let me start it up, and then I'll come back and explain some more. Okay, like the first step is I got some warm water, and I put a packet of yeast in it. Now the package says keep it between 100 and 110 degrees, and it's about 102. So I put the packet of yeast in there, and I put like a tablespoon or 2 of sugar in there, and that way this can start, it'll activate the yeast, and it'll start producing before I mix up the big batch. But you let this go for a while, and you let this start producing the carbon dioxide. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, so what I did is, you can see this right here, it's been like 3 or 4 minutes. See how it's foaming up right there? That's where the yeast is actually working, so that's the starter. And what I did is I poured all 3 of those bottles of cherry juice into here, and then I added like 4 gallons of warm water. So I'm keeping it around, 90 to 100 degrees right here. I put 5 pounds of sugar in it already. I think I'm going to put 5 more in it and mix it out that way. It might turn out to be a little bit sweeter. So, and it's just regular, regular granulated sugar that you get at the store. So what we'll do is we'll pour this in here. And I'll have to stir it up. Kind of get it to dissolve. Now see, I don't know. I've never done this much sugar before, but my thinking is that you can't put too much. Because whatever the yeast don't turn into alcohol, it'll be left over to be sweetened. Because this kind of yeast right here, it's bread yeast. So there is an upper limit. Once it starts digesting the sugars and turning them into alcohol, basically what it does is it ends up making an environment that it can't live in. So once your alcohol content gets up to like, 14, 16% like that, this yeast right here, it basically kills itself in its own waste. Because you just can't live in that environment. So, you're not going to, it's not going to do like too much or whatever. So any of the sugars that are left over, after the yeast die off, well, that would just, tend to make your wine sweeter. So that's what we're going to try this time. And that's all there is to it. You just do it that way, and then you take this yeast culture that you made up, and you basically just add it to it. And I just gave it a bunch of food to eat, so I'll kind of rinse it out here too so I can get all the other stuff out of it. Looks like it's going to be a good color too, see it? It's going to be a light color like it. Now see, this is really full, so I don't know. But yeah, that's what we got to do. Then, oh yeah, let me stir that up. Oh, I did. Then we take this lid right here, like I said, and we just, oops, shoot. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do with one hand, right? And you just basically take it all the way down, all the way around, and get it to seal all the way around it, like so. And then you'll take this little piece of hose right here, and it will go over top, like so. You just push it down, because basically what this does, this allows the CO2 that the yeast produces to actually come out, and it doesn't let any germs or bacteria or any kind of air or anything like that to get back into it to spoil it. Because a lot of times, if you take apple juice and you ferment it like that, but then you let the air get to it and you let the bacteria get to it, and then it turns into apple cider. So that's like the difference. If I did that, that would probably turn into a cherry cider, which would probably be nasty. But anyway, and then you put you some water in your, this is basically like a bubbler. You see them, they sell them, you know, it's a little bubbler that goes on top. So I figure I'm not going to, you know, why, you know, buy something like that when you just make it. And then basically you set this off to the side and you pop that little bad boy in there like that. And then now the whole time that this produces carbon dioxide and it starts bubbling out, it'll come out this hose, come down there, and then it'll bubble out. So, and that's it. I'll put a date on it, and then later on you can come back and taste it. And of course some of my local friends, they'll be able to taste it too, but I'm sure my wife will enjoy it. But anyway, this is Radical Dan. Have a good one.